mga crucial time pa doon pa nag-crank si na Jaywa saka si Arwin sabay pa. So parang nakita ko yung team parang lumuko parang gano'n pero siguro this time makakabawi na kami dahil okay naman sila even Jaywa and Arwin 100% na sila.
Coach, you mentioned in the newspaper na do or die para sa inyo tong game number 2. Tell us about that.
Yes, this game is very important for us because pag na 2-0 kasi sa token text napakahirap bumalik. So parang do or die talaga sa amin to na kailangan namin bumawi.
Alright, thank you, Coach. Back to you.
Alright, Coach Yang, can you really expound sa sinabi doon ni Coach Otto Agustin? This is a best of 7 series. Down 1-0, pero bakit parang do or die na for them?
Well, if it becomes 0-2 for Talk and Text, it's really difficult to catch up kasi I think Talk and Text is fresher at this moment. And if San Miguel does not win this game, it's really, really hard for them to get back.
Alright, and later on we'll have more thoughts from Coach Yang Yao. In the meantime, back to 7 Kinito.
Thank you very much, Richard and Coach Yang. Let's get to the Dean's List while the starting lineups are being called. Who do you start with?
Well, let's start with Talk and Text. And ang tema naman ng Talk and Text, as you're going to see in our screens, is very clearly all cylinders must be blazing. And that means they've got to play the high-octane game that they're known for. That means don't look back. In transition, you go straight towards the basket and try to score as many points as you can. And that's very important for them. And we saw in game number 1, ganun na ang ginawa nila. No? Create multiple possessions, meaning to say, get those defensive and offensive rebounds. Get as many possessions as you can, because this is a team that likes to run. This is a team that likes to take a lot of shots. And finally, they need to get that bench cranking. 43 to 35. Ang advantage of Talk and Text in bench scoring in game number 1, they've got to be able to maintain that kind of advantage.
It should be interesting to look at the Dean's List for San Miguel because I noticed that they talk about that they have to play better defense here in game number 2.
Oh, clearly, Sev, importante sa kanila, they've got to clog that Talk and Text signal. Make it a bad signal from being a good signal. And number 1 is they've got to avoid those useless fouls. And we talked about that kanina, no? Too many free throws being given up in game number 1. 37 free throw attempts by Talk and Text against only 20% Miguel. Secondly, they've got to hold down that backcourt. We all know how potent Ryan Reyes, Jason Castro, Jimmy Alapagar. In game number 1, they had a combined 38 points, 12 rebounds, and 12 assists. That means the defense must start from the backcourt. And they've got to challenge the interior. Believe it or not, in game number 1, San Miguel had 8 more three-point attempts at Talk and Text, and they had 10 less points in the paint attempts. Meaning to say, a lot of their game was from the outside. That's also the reason why they weren't going to the free throw line as much as Talk and Text. They've got to be able to change that mindset. Go inside, challenge the interior, put the big men into foul trouble, and maybe we've got a game.
With the way the two teams clawed at each other and the way this is turning out, I get the sense from you that this looks like it's going to be a long series with the way these two teams know how to adjust as well. They've got great coaching staffs. Let's see how this series progresses. We are underway with game number 2. The lob by Reyes. No particular recipient. It will go to San Miguel. Early defense by Talk and Text. They're up against against Cabagnod. They bring up the defense. Nobody's sitting down yet on the Talk and Text side. Cabagnod shoots. No, up. The referee says there's something amiss. Our referees are Herrera Guevara and Jimmy Mariano, wearing 59, 80, and 86 respectively. First foul of the game. And they give it to Kelly Williams. Boy, it's so noisy here. We will enjoy this game with all of you. And there's Jay Wash.
First attempt by Jay Washington. That's a good sign for the big man. Remember, he needs to score big numbers for San Miguel to win. We pointed that out in the Ginebra series. When he scored big, San Miguel won. When he didn't score as much, San Miguel lost. What about this matchup here? Randy Del Campo going up against Dorian Peña. Peña more known as a post defender, and that's why Randy Del Campo attacked him from the outside.
Missed shot again by Talk and Text. Here comes San Miguel, currently leading 2-0 here in game number 2. They go to the Cebuano hot shot, trying to control his dribble. Cabagnod, shake, bake. No, Peña says, I got it.
Again, what made that possible was the penetration of Alex Gabagnot. He's got to have that mindset of challenging the interior because it opens up a lot of opportunities. If he's not able to get the layup, at least someone from the San Miguel side might be there for the offensive rebound.
Reyes missing from three-point country, and De Ocampo picks it up. New chance. Williams with a one-handed attempt in the air at that is fouled. Peña collects his first foul. Each side has been called for a foul in the game.
And Seb, we've said it time and again. For San Miguel to try to even this series, they've got to play unforgiving defense. The kind of defense we didn't see much in game number 1 when Talk 'N Text scored 91 points. And then you wonder if San Miguel has to play tough defense here against Talk 'N Text kasi hindi sila pwede magsabayan in terms of a shootout.
Yeah,
we all know how Talk 'N Text is so potent offensively. But Otto Agustin is more known as an offensive coach, not a defensive coach. So, is he going to be able to make the major adjustment to have a defensive orientation to try to win this series? That's the big question.
In the meantime, here's Peña, all bottled up. 6 seconds remain on the shot clock. Good cut by Peña, rejected. Nevertheless, by Dillinger.
You know, the big switch there of Jared Dillinger, because he's a big guy who plays the 3 spot, and he's there to defend against Arwin Santos. He can also move inside and be a last line of defense on the switch.
And the prescription you have about the defense, Quinito, for San Miguel, it can't just be on the guards of Talk 'N Text. It has to be both in the front court as well as in the back court. They were prepared to face the back court of Talk 'N Text, but they've got to make some adjustments on the front court as well. In the meantime, Jay Wash is at the stripe.
You know, that's a very good point you just made, Seb, no, because for San Miguel to play that kind of defense, that's important. They've got to play team defense. I think it's a given that Talk 'N Text has a much deeper bench, and the figures pointed out clearly.
I agree, yes.
They're playing with a deeper rotation. They've got more players averaging more minutes than San Miguel, and the minutes of San Miguel are concentrated on just 3 or 4 players.
Dillinger takes care of the first field goal of Talk 'N Text. They're down by just 2. And here comes an opportunity to tie up this ball game early. It's at 2. No, he doesn't bite. Arwin Santos using his long arms to reach for that.
It might be a conscious effort here on the part of San Miguel to slow things down, just to be able to upset the rhythm of Talk 'N Text because they like to run.
You're right about Talk 'N Text. When they grab the opportunity, they push it and push it hard. And they're doing that now, although San Miguel down defensively. Alapang! Rejected by Hontiveros.
That's the kind of defense we were talking about that San Miguel must show in this game. You watch his block coming from Dondon Hontiveros.
Pinaikutan na ni Jimmy. Nandun pa rin si Dondon. Samantala, shot clock coming down to 10. De Ocampo carving space. Oh, yes!
Now he's using his ability, his lateral ability, and his ability to go around his defender, Dorian Peña. And that's a very crucial matchup. Kita-kita yun ni Coach Chot Reyes, no? The speed, the ability, the agility of Ranidel Del Campo against a post defender like Dorian Peña. You will notice that Ranidel is not going to post up against Dorian. He's going to attack it from the outside. And here's this pocket pass break.
And that was perpetrated by the quick hands of Reyes. And San Miguel calling an early ceasefire. And they have lost their early lead. Talk 'N Text has grabbed that lead back in a moment. Welcome back to the Cuneta Astrodome, the venue for game number 2. 56 out of 84 teams, which took the first game in a best of 7, went on to win the series, a winning percentage of 67%.
Well, that's close to 70%. So, malaking advantage na yan. Psychologically, especially for Talk 'N Text. Look at this full court pressure here by Talk 'N Text. So it appears that they're the ones playing the tougher defense at this point.
And they managed to score 6 straight points. There's a collision away from the ball, but no foul called. Here's a snap by Gabagnot that does not work, and Alapag issues it quickly. The big man on the run should have gone for the shot. was not sure of himself, decided to pass off at the last moment.
Well, they didn't have the numbers. Transition defense, very good for San Miguel that time. 4 men sprinting back against 2 men trying to score on fast break for Talk and Text.
And Ontiveros rips the cords on the other side to make it 8-7. The long pass. Washington trying to pursue the Ocampo. Stays with him. There's a foul. Washington with his first foul, and the second team foul of the Beermen. Each side has been called for 2.
And you see how the San Miguel Beermen are now helping out Dorian Peña on defense against Ranidel de Ocampo. The man who fouled Ranidel in that attempt at the basket was not Peña, but it was Jay Washington trying to help out.
As we have Efren Batares enjoying the action. Alam mo, Kinito, katabi ni Ato Agustin, si B-Boy Rabanes, one of the all-time defensive great players ng PBA, been named to the number of defensive teams. He could be one of the key factors in helping the defense of San Miguel. Always with that notebook. However, ball is taken away. Reyes has initiated 2 steals already. The Ocampo will now go for it.
Again, Ranidel de Ocampo. Now here's a player who hardly played in the eliminations because of an injury, but he's coming on strong here for Coach Chot Reyes. Can you imagine? To show you how deep the bench is of Talking Text, after De Ocampo will come Ali P.
5 straight points now by Hontiveros after that triple earlier. They're really going to De Ocampo early on, Talking Text.
Right. It looks like he's getting the primary touchdown.
They swing it around. Shot clock at 8. Alapag! In and out.
Now for San Miguel, I thought that was good defense. What you want to do is to force Talking Text to take those outside shots. You don't want them challenging the interior. You don't want them using their power and their strength to score layups. You want to turn them into a jump shooting team. Force them to take the shots from the outside rather than penetrate and go inside.
Ontiveros feels good, trying to shoot from that right flank, and Peña cleans up the mess, and San Miguel is back in the lead. Alapag isolated against Camagnon. Kelly Williams saw a brief access, was tripped on the way to the basket. He sprawled on the floor, but he seems okay.
Looks like free throws coming up here for Talking Text. Back in game number 1, Talking Text missed 19 free throws. And they won by 9, so can you imagine? If they only shot 60% of their free throws, they would have easily won by double digits.
I can imagine that the practice of Talking Text yesterday was very, very bloody from the free throw line after that statistic. In the meantime, Ali Peak, I think, is in for the first time. Yes.
Ito yung sinasabi ko, no? Paglabas ni Ranidel de Ocampo, guess who comes in? Someone like an Ali Peak who presents to you a different dimension of a player. So I think that's the reason why Talking Text has been successful this conference. So they have different types of players. So if you stay with your man, if you're San Miguel, if you stay with your same man like Dorian Peña inside or a Jay Washington, and they get used to playing defense against a Ranidel de Ocampo, all of a sudden you have someone playing a different type of style, magbabago ka.
Jason Castro trying it from the inside, unable to get the layup. It is 12-11, San Miguel leading at 5:38 to go here in the opening quarter. Camagnon sees a crack on the defensive line. Ontiveros, yes!
Well, Tonton is red hot, and his teammates are looking for him. He's spotting up, and he's getting away with it.
Already he has 8 of the 15 points of San Miguel so far. Jason Castro surveys the field. Ito yung sinasabi mo, sinasabay si Castro at saka si Alapag. Here's the shot from the side and rings the bell for Dillinger. Dillinger is credited with a 3-point shot. Here's Camagnon looking inside, nowhere to go. Goes to Arwin Santos, lets it fly, it's short. Follow up inside, yes!
A lot of wide open space there for San Miguel to get that offensive rebound. San Miguel actually getting a lot of attempts on second chance opportunities.
Two coming from Peña and one from Danny Ildefonso right now. Here's a change in the lineup. Larry Ponechère playing in another championship.